welcome back, my dear friends, for another beautiful session of the Money Blocks Clearing. And today it's going to be a little different. Usually I do kind of a one-on-one kind of a session, but today we are going to do like a general session that is going to be applicable for everybody as usual. And how we are going to do, so these sessions, if you are here for the first time, we are based, so this is the book that we are basing all of our sessions on, Love Money, Money Loves You by Sarah Meckram. And in this particular book, money teaches us, it's money, the being, who is talking to us throughout the entire book. And money gives us a specific format in which we can place our requests for money. So if you know about, ask and you shall receive, but unless we ask for it, money cannot deliver us money itself. So that's the reason we need to kind of place a request for money. And so let's go to, so this particular, in this book, chapter number 29, talks about 3 different kind of money blockages and how we can actually place our request. So the right format of placing a request for money is, I am going to receive $1,000, or I am going to receive $500. I am going to receive $1 million from lottery or whatever. Doesn't matter. So you need to kind of state it in that kind of format. I am going to receive. What you should not kind of do, that money says in this book, is I want money or I need money. These are the 2 words that works against us. And money says it's more like a contradictory request. Every time we say I want money or I need money, we are contradicting ourselves. So now let's start off. So I have 4 beautiful members on the Zoom call here. So now let's get started with, what is your request for money? So you can write it in a kind of a statement, whereas it is like, I will receive this much amount by this much time. If you want to give it the time, you can give it that way. So for example, I will receive $1,000 by the end of this month, or I will receive $100 every day. So you can place the request in any kind of format that you would like to have. But when you're placing the request, make sure you're truly ready to accept it, which means your willingness to receive is one of the major factors that decides how much money can come to you. So ask yourself, how much money am I truly willing to receive? And base your statement depending on that. So you might have this kind of desire for $10,000, but when you ask yourself, how much am I willing to receive? You might get a different number. You might say, oh, I'm only willing to receive $2,000. Usually, whatever your current financial income is, let's say, if your income is $1,000, most likely you will be willing to receive a little more than that. But we, with our conscious mind and our kind of beliefs that we have, we might not be willing to receive a very big number. So ask yourself, what am I truly willing to receive? And then you can type in whatever kind of request that comes to you. Great. So Mahasen has written here, I am going to receive this much amount or more next time. So she has been doing beautiful lottery. So she is like on that. Great. Looks amazing, Mahasen. Thank you. And others as well, others on the call, you can type in now, and then we will bring up different points of view that is getting in the way of it. So again, going back to the book, once you place your request, once you have typed it, whether it is in the Facebook comment or here in the chat, or even when you're saying it, even that single thought that you have in your mind which says, I will receive this much amount, is already being recorded. And this beautiful being called money has to deliver it. That's the duty of money. So now once you place the request, so money talks about, so going back to the chapter 29 that I was talking about, the first block, there are three money blocks that money talks about. The first block is that our initial request is blocked. So once you type that in, that's the request that we have already done. So we are overcoming the first block. The second block is the major 80% block, which is once you have placed the request, now there is like 10 or 100 different points of view that you might have that is contradicting your request. So that's where we are going to go into. I am, so Mahima has typed, I am receiving, I am going to receive $2,000 by the end of this month. Yes, I am getting 5,000 rupees extra. Extra, is it next week, Meenakshi? Okay, so Socrates has typed in, I am getting at least this much monthly as an income from this month from any source. Fear, inability to get wage and retired. Okay, so he is also typed in the fear that he has. Okay, great. I am writing this daily in my diary. Okay, so so Money has also told us in the book that you just need to place a request just once. Even if you say it just once, it is already recorded. So instead, you don't have to. So for those of you who had been kind of repeating the same statement, please understand you don't have to place the request itself over and over again. But if your intention is to do an energy clearing where you just want to release the blocks and that's why you want to do it, the best way to do it is to ask, what would it take? So for example, if your request is, I am going to receive $5,000 next week, then you can change that statement into, if you want to do a clearing for yourself, you can change that statement into, what would it take for me to receive $5,000 next month? Everything in me that doesn't allow me to do it, I destroy and uncreate. So you can create that into a clearing statement that you can run multiple times every day, doesn't matter. But please make sure that you are not placing the same request over and over again, because when you're doing that, multiple requests get created. Every time you write it, every time you think about it, every time you do it, you're kind of creating duplicate requests, and all of those requests needs to be handled. And from the book, we also know about the VBA, the vibrational bank account that the book talks about, Meenakshi, which says that every time you place a request, there is that specific credit also that gets hold on. So anyways, coming back, just place the request only once. It is not required that you place the same request over and over again. But if you want to do it as a clearing, just use, what would it take for me to have that? Okay, great. Thanks, Meenakshi. Now, the first way how we are going to take up and bring up these points of view is, Mahima asks, should I change my request every month? No, it's not required for you to change it. Whatever is your true request is, if that's the same request you want to place for every month, you can do it. If in case you have placed a request for last month, which you did not receive, it just means that you have contradictory requests in place. If you do not have any contradictions, it gets delivered automatically. So now you need to think, okay, last month I did place this request, which is not yet delivered, which is already on hold. So ask yourself, what are my contradictions? Where am I contradicting myself? So there is so much more if we go into it, but now let's go into our next step. So the next step is, I want you to bring up whatever your request was. Just tell yourself, I will not receive $5,000 next month because, or I will not receive $2,000 by the end of this month because, in Meenakshi's case, I am not going to receive 5,000 rupees next week because, what are your points of view that comes up first when you say that statement? So it's the opposite of your request, and you're not placing a request with it. You're just, bringing up all of your points of view that are contradicting your original request. So I would love for all of you to type in whatever comes to you. I am not gonna win lottery next time because see what else needs to come up. And some of you have already attended some healing, the clearing sessions before. We have cleared some of it. But right now, what comes up to you? Okay, Socrates says, I can't tap into money frequency, miscommunication, delay in actualization, time issues. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I'm just waiting. I need a proxy to stay tuned with money frequency. That itself, the wordings that you're using with regards to money frequency, what if that itself is an interesting point of view? What if you have access to money all the time? What if you really don't have to tune into that frequency? Rather, so one of the most important things that is shared in the book with regards to be able to access and receive money is your level of enjoyment, is your level of happiness. If you had been worrying about money, that is the number one block that is blocking you from receiving money. So just ask yourself, let's take yesterday for example. In the 24 hours yesterday, how many hours had you been worrying about money, or in general in a worry emotion, in a worry mode, so to speak? So one of the major blocks that blocks us from receiving money is this thing called worry, disappointment, any kind of negative emotions. So Money says in the book that whenever we are feeling negative emotions, we get contracted and become like a stone. A stone cannot absorb the air that is flowing around it. Just an example. What if we as human beings are this beautiful energy field, and this energy of money is floating all around us all the time? We either receive it or we don't receive it. It's as simple as that. So are we ready and willing to receive that kind of negative emotions? Makes our energy field to be contracted, and with that kind of contraction we become like a solid rock that cannot receive anything. So with that, let's first of all get started with our energy clearing here and release everywhere in your normal day-to-day life that you're living right now, that you're feeling negative emotions, you are worrying about money, feeling disappointed with yourself, feeling any kind of hatred, anger towards yourself or towards others, every way that you are blaming or complaining about yourself or about others for money, all of these creates major blocks and puts your energy field into that kind of a contraction. So everywhere you are contracted and you are not willing to accept money, everywhere you are refusing money, everywhere you believe that you don't deserve money and you're not worthy of receiving money, first of all, can we please destroy and uncreate all of that? Everything in you that was brought up, let's destroy and uncreate all of that times a godzillion. Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pot, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. If every 1 hour of the day in which you are absolutely happy, you are enjoying, you are worry free, stress free, there's no negative emotions, you're just enjoying. For every hour of the day that you are truly enjoying in true pleasure, in true happiness, let's say you will be paid $100. And imagine every hour of the day that you are worrying, that you're stressed, that you are in tension, disappointed, angry with yourself or with others, any of the negative emotions, for every hour of the day that you're worrying, you have to pay $100. For every hour of the day that you're happy, you receive $100. For every hour of the day that you're stressed or tensed, you have to pay $100. And imagine your entire day yesterday. Would you be in positive or would you be in negative balance? How many hours of the day yesterday were you truly happy, truly in pleasure and happiness and enjoying? True enjoyment, not just simply smiling, but actually true enjoyment, true pleasure. And how many hours of the day were you in negative emotions? Especially with regards to money. How many hours of the day yesterday were you worrying about money? And if you now look at past 30 days, how does that picture look like? And now, with that information, how can you design, create your next 30 days or even just tomorrow? How can you be different tomorrow? And imagine this kind of easy mathematical calculation equation. Okay. Okay, Socrates is typing here. Resistance manifested in my internet connection. Yes. All right. So tomorrow, how can you be a kind of a different person every hour of the day and even starting from today? If every hour of your day counts, if at all you can maintain that happiness, maintain enjoyment, and keep asking yourself, how can I be happy? Okay, here is a secret. What if you are in happy, truly enjoying? What would your thought look like? If I am recording your thoughts into my computer and I can read your thoughts, if in 1 hour that which you were truly happy, you are truly enjoying, truly in pleasure, now imagine all of those thoughts that are getting, printed in my computer. How does those thoughts look like? What sentences would that be like? Most likely it is all gonna be positive thoughts. When you're thinking positive thoughts, you cannot contradict the request that you have placed. So, going back to the request that you've placed, which is okay, I'm gonna be happy. Sorry, I will receive $1,000 next month, right? Or this month. If that's your request, the these positive thoughts that comes in is not contradicting it. And now imagine 1 hour that you are worrying about money, and if I am recording your thoughts, every thought, so it is said that every day we think about 60,000 thoughts. So I'm putting a quick calculation there, and maybe in an hour you might have about 3,000 to 5,000 thoughts anywhere, give or take. So now in that 1 hour I am reading your 3,000 thoughts of worrying. When you are worrying, how does your thoughts look like? What am I going to do tomorrow? This bill has to be paid. I have no clue where my clients are going to come from. I hope this thing that I'm doing is working, but it's just not working. Most likely, this is how your thoughts are going to look like. Just an example. And every single statement that I said is a contradiction to your original request. And now imagine a single day with all of those 60,000 thoughts that you are emitting, right? Every thought that you're thinking is going out into the world. It is getting recorded. And literally there's a system in which, there is continuous feed of your thoughts coming in. And all of these thoughts needs to be delivered to you in your reality. Therefore, and that's the reason now I'm going back to the happiness thing. If you are just happy, just focusing on how can I enjoy this moment, whether you're working, whether you're going out, whether you're talking to your partner, if you are in the happy mode, all of those 3,000 thoughts that's coming in are most likely positive thoughts, which means that you are not contradicting yourself. And this is one of the ways that money talks about in this book. The best way, the easiest way for you to allow money to come to you. So now, everywhere in the past and whatever in you, all of your points of view and all of those patterns of worry that you are addicted to can we now destroy and uncreate all of your thoughts, emotions, decisions, judgments, conclusions, projections, and expectations that is making you stressed and tensed and disappointed? Let's destroy and uncreate every way that you are judging yourself, every way you say, oh, this is my goal, and then you are disappointed every day by the evening saying, oh, I did not hit my goal for today. That's what? It's just self judgments. So, every way you're judging yourself and self criticism that's happening every single moment that's running inside of you, let's destroy and uncreate all of that. Right, wrong, good, bad, fuck, for all nine shots, whys, and beyonds. And most likely, all of the self sabotaging patterns, the self judging patterns, your thoughts, most likely, all of those programmed thoughts that we are thinking day in and day out, most of it has come from our upbringing, from people around us. Most likely, 50% of our thoughts are coming from, let's say, our mother or father, whoever brought us up, because that's where we learned how to think. So, every way that you are being your mother, every way you're being your father, every way you're thinking like your mother, every way you're thinking like your father or anybody else who brought you up, let's destroy and uncreate. And can you now please send them back their consciousness, their energy, whatever it is that you're holding on to, and their points of view? Every way that you have duplicated their points of view and set targets for yourself and then judge yourself for it because your mom did the same thing, who might have been judging you for not achieving something. That's just an example. In your case it might be different, doesn't matter. So every way you are kind of duplicating others and being them, can we now destroy and uncreate and send their energy back, all of their emotions, their thoughts, their points of view, everywhere that especially you are being your parents, please send it all back to them. And Access Consciousness beautifully says that 98% of all our thoughts and emotions usually belong to others. It's not even ours. So please send it back, everything that is coming up. And notice the patterns, the fear that you feel when you ask yourself, who does that belong to? Most likely it's coming from somebody else. The self doubt, the self judgment, all of these thoughts that I'm talking about. If you kind of record those thoughts and ask yourself, who does that thought belong to? Who thinks like that in my world? And it might be from somebody else. Every way that you have inherited your ancestors' way of thinking, your parents' way of thinking and behaving, and all of those behaviors, inherent behaviors that you duplicated from them, let's first of all, everything that belongs to them, return it back to them with consciousness attached. And everything in you that you generated that is creating negative behaviors, let's destroy and uncreate all of that. Times a godzillion. Right, wrong, good, bad, fuck, for all nine shots, boys and beyonds. Okay, so we will do just one more important thing here. Resistance to happiness, third parties' emotions and feelings stored in my being or absorbed, lack of insurance about the result or goal. Okay, bunch of different things. So everything, Socrates, that is bringing up in you, everywhere that you had been taught not to be happy, every way that you had been punished for being happy and for enjoying your life, can we please destroy for everybody? Can we please destroy and uncreate all of that, and all, just not this lifetime but all of your past lifetimes as well? Every way that you had been taught not to be happy, not to be enjoying, and every way you had been taught that you can become successful only if you're serious in your life, let's destroy and uncreate that. Who does that belong to? And send it back to the sender with consciousness attached. Right, wrong, good, bad, fuck, for all nine shots, voids, and beyonds. Great. So we are going to do just one more important thing here before we finish. One of the another questions with Access Consciousness is asking truth. Truth, what's the value? So if you see that you had been having this self-judgment or self-doubt or self-sabotaging yourself, And most of us have that pattern. This question helps us understand what's the value of it. Truth. What's the value of me judging myself? If you let go of you judging yourself, what's the worst that would happen in your world? What's the worst that will happen in your life? What's the worst that will happen in your reality? Are you using your self judgments as your own motivation? If you stop judging yourself, meaning judging is as simple as, oh, I had to do this work today, but I did not complete it. What now? Okay, even that is, and then you say, I'm being such a bad person. I'm being lazy today. I'm procrastinating. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. Right? So this kind of self-judgment pattern is like in us every single small moment, small thoughts, even that which we are thinking. So my original question, truth, what's the value that you are receiving by judging yourself? If you stop those judgments, what's the worst that would happen in your life and to yourself? And most likely, in my case personally, that which I have seen is I had been using my self judgments for motivating myself. So now, usually what I do is I wake up in the morning and then I have this huge task list. Oh, I have to get done these 15 things today. And I had also had a pattern in my life where morning before I start working, I write down everything that I want to get done, so that evening I can judge myself that I did not get it all done. So crazily, where in a day there is only 10 hours maybe that which I can work, and each of these tasks are gonna needing maybe 2 hours, 3 hours. I know very well that I cannot get done those 15 tasks today, but I still write it down so I can challenge myself. As I said, I had been using that as a way to motivate myself to get things done. But what if that in and itself is a self-sabotaging pattern? And nowadays, after going through the book reading that we are doing in our Unlimited Money Club, I started changing all of those behaviors. Now I get started every single day with like a fresh new sheet, fresh new page. There isn't any task list that I create for myself. I'm like, and nowadays, I had been starting to prioritize my happiness, regardless of what I get done today or not. What would it take for me to just be happy throughout the day? And I had been asking that question. And when I had been, so I have now shifted my focus from getting things done to actually my happiness. Am I truly happy doing this thing now? If not, I'm not going to do this right now. What happens then, even though it might feel like, oh, then I'm just not going to do any work, I'm going to go sit play with my pet because that's what gives me happiness? What if slowly that pattern is going to start changing? What if we can start having that happiness in our working time? And what if that can create true difference in our world? I'm going to put in one more beautiful question here. And that is what I had been using recently. What's right about me that I'm not getting? So when I see that task list and I see that I haven't completed all of that, I ask to myself, what's right about it? What's right about me that I'm not getting? What's right about me not completing all of those things? What's right about me completing only one task in that 10, 15 task list? What's right about it? And this question has had a huge, massive impact and change in my life. Now I don't even get a chance to criticize myself, because every time I see myself criticizing, I say, what's right about it that I'm not getting? And now I don't even get a chance to criticize or blame or self abuse myself. So if you would like to write down that question, what's right about it? Yes, I did not get this thing done, but what's right about it? And now it's going to create such a huge expansion in your field. You don't get to judge yourself. Okay, so every way that you had been using your self-judgments as a way to motivate yourself, can you please destroy and uncreate that pattern? Whom did you learn that pattern from? Who in your world was judging themselves to motivate themselves? Can you please return it back to them? All of your patterns that does not belong to you, please return it back to the sender with consciousness attached. Right, wrong, good, bad, POC for all 9 shots, boys and beyonds. And that, so I have given you 2 questions. Truth, what's the value that I'm receiving in whatever pattern that you're seeing? Second is, what's right about me that I'm not getting? Where am I wronging myself all the time? And what if when we get out of those self judgments, we can allow ourselves to be happy and prioritize happiness? And what if you prioritizing happiness allows your energy field to expand and you start opening yourself to receiving money? And in this entire book, that money has been telling us that it's your happiness that's going to decide how much money you are going to receive in your life. I repeat, it's your level of happiness that's going to decide how much money you are going to receive in your life. Everywhere that you're not willing to prioritize your happiness, let's destroy and uncreate all the points of you, the patterns, everything else in you that doesn't allow you to be happy. Right, wrong, good, bad, POC for all 9 shots, boys and beyonds. All right, so many different things that we got into. How are you all feeling? And those of you who are watching this on Facebook Live or on YouTube, please do comment below your experience, maybe new awareness that you got, the patterns that you got to release, the kind of stuff that you got out of the session. Please do leave comments below. I do kind of read every comment. So thank you, all of you, for your beautiful participation. I'm going to see you tomorrow. Oh, sorry, next week. As well as those of you on the call today, we have a beautiful 30-minute free taster that I'm doing for the Right Riches book, which is going to be focused completely on how to generate more financial wealth in our lives. So if you would love to participate in it, it is the same time tomorrow. So please do send me a message and I'll give you the Zoom meeting link for that. It's a free taster on the Right Riches for You book that I'm actually facilitating on Sunday. All right, so if you would like to have that, please do message me. Otherwise, I'm going to see you again next time. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye. Is anybody chatting? I'm sorry, typing in here?